Imagine this. You're stuck in a house and you're tied to a chair. Surrounding you is three people. Three ugly rednecks, and not lovable ones like in Duck Dynasty. I'm talking about the white trash variety you find on Jerry Springer. None of them seem to be crazy about personal hygiene and haven't took a bath since Bush was president. They want you for dinner, but the food they're giving you is, shall we say, a bit too exotic for your taste. And they want you to stay for dinner, literally. This is the key scene in one of the most iconic horror films ever made, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it was loosely, very loosely, based on a true story. Here is what really happened. It should really be called the Wisconsin Butcher Knife Massacre. The real Leatherface was an odd man named Ed Gein. He grew up with a religious, fanatic mother who told him that sex was evil, and basically every woman except her was a slut. He was devastated when his mother died, and that was when he began to have weird fantasies. As he grew up, he became fascinated with Nazi atrocities, and despite being straight, he had an unhealthy obsession with women and desired to become one. So he compensated by digging through graveyards and taking bodies of women and making homemade suits of them, so he could literally wear them and pretend to be one himself. He also used various parts of skin, bone, and organ to make household appliances, and made homemade masks out of their faces. Later, he wanted more fresh bodies to avoid the smell, and he began hunting real, alive women. He was known as a harmless weirdo around town. He even babysit local kids, and never got a complaint. But later, his last victim was found hanging upside down, gutted. Stories about cannibalism and necrophilia are most likely just myths built up after the fact. It is almost impossible to be declared legally insane. Jeffrey Dahmer literally ate people, and he didn't get declared insane. But Gein was so crazy, he became one of the few serial killers to be legally declared insane, and he spent the rest of his life in a mental institution, where he died peacefully in old age. He was a model prisoner, and his bizarre tale inspired not just the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but also Psycho and Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, among others. To me, Leatherface is one of the most underrated horror icons. He was the first famous movie monster to wear a mask. He eats people and wears masks out of their faces, one of which is a female mask with makeup, I guess for when his feminine side comes out. He's so retarded he can't talk, and so he can only speak in grunts. And though we never see his face, we know he's hideous because we see a shot of his rotted teeth that obviously haven't seen a brush in years. In another family, he would be the reject that you hide in the attic away from polite society. But in his crazy family, he's just one of the boys. He acts like a giant, violent, mentally retarded child. But it's not just him. He comes from a long line of cannibals. His brother, a psycho hitchhiker with a preference for self-mutilation, is possibly even crazier than he is. And his older brother pretends like he's the reasonable one and doesn't actually like the killing. But when he gets to torture, he hollers like he's having the time of his life. And there's also the ancient grandpa who looks like he's 200 years old, who seems to be barely alive. The amazing thing to me is how tame the film is. It has developed a shocking reputation, but the truth is the film is almost as bloodless as Halloween. In fact, director Tobe Hooper seriously tried to get the film a PG rating, this being the time before PG-13 was a thing. The film doesn't actually show a lot, but it implies a lot. The film isn't perfect. Sally, the final girl, is important for probably being the first such of the type to be in a slasher film, but frankly she's no Laurie Strode, and her constant screaming is really annoying after a while. And her brother Franklin is perhaps the single most annoying and unlikable person in a film. If Leatherface didn't carve him up, and I was there, I probably would have done it myself, just so I didn't have to hear his nagging and whining anymore. The film also takes a while to get started and is a bit slow in the first half, with the exception of the hitchhiker scene. But nonetheless, it is an incredibly influential slasher film and a masterpiece of horror. The dinner scene is one of the greatest scenes in all of horror history. Okay, here's the thing. Do you like horror movies, cute dog videos, music including rock, rap, and classical, baseball, Star Wars, or DBZ? Well, come here to the Hillbilly Review channel, the only place you can find all that crap under one channel. Like and subscribe. I'm not too proud to beg. And if you only like one of those topics, go to one of my detailed playlists to find the topic you want. Let's get with it.